Okay, this is the P4 paper from October 2022. It's question number 8, and it's a proof question. Proof's a fairly new topic over the last few years, so there aren't that many of these questions, so we need to make the most of each one of these as we're looking at them. Let's have a look at this one then, and it says, a student was asked to prove by contradiction, that, there are no positive integers x and y such that 3x squared plus 2xy minus y squared equals 25. Okay, fine. And it gives us the start of the student's proof. Okay, so this is one of those questions where either there'll be something wrong with the proof and we've got to find out where the mistake is, or in this case, we've actually got to finish the proof off. So what the student is going to say is, assume that there are integers that exist, x and y, such that 3x squared plus 2xy minus y squared equals 25. Okay, so that's that part there. And what the student does is actually breaks that down by factorizing this thing into 3x minus y, x plus y. Okay, so that's relatively straightforward. And then what the student goes on and says is, well, one of the pairs of numbers that multiplies together to make 25 then is going to be 3x minus y is 1 and x plus y is 25. And what the student then tries to do is to solve that equation. 3x minus y equals 1, x plus y is 25, to see whether that ends up with two integers. And I'm assuming it's not going to, because we're trying to prove by contradiction. So when we have that situation, solving those simultaneous equations, they haven't shown us a lot of working out for it, but we get that 4x is 26, so x is 6.5, and y works out to be equal to 18.5. So in that particular instance then, the two numbers 3x minus y and x plus y, the two factors, don't derive from having x equal to an integer and y equal to an integer. The question then says, show the calculations and statements that are needed to complete this proof. It's only worth 4 marks, so we don't need to spend too long on it, but we do need to basically thoroughly understand what are they asking us to do. Well, what they're saying is then they've identified when 3x minus y, x plus y equals 25, if we chose that that was equal to 1 and that was equal to 25, then there's no solutions. What we can do then is provide all the other possibilities where those two pink numbers multiply together to equal 25. So I could get the other way round. I could try and say, I could say, how am I going to write this down? My calculation would be, next calculation would be, instead of 3x minus y equals 1 and x plus y equals 25, I'm going to do those the other way around. I'm going to do 3x minus y equals 25 and x plus y equals 1. Not that and that, but 25 and 1. Let's try and solve those and see whether they work out to be equal to integers. Once I've tried that, I may as well tell you the next thing I'm going to do before I do it. The only other possibility of two numbers multiplied together to give 25 then would be if they were both 5 and 5. So I'll solve this one, then I'll try and solve 3x minus y equals 5, x plus y equals 5. And I'm assuming in all cases that it's not going to be integers, but let's go ahead and do that. So if I've got this situation, if I call this equation 1 and equation 2, the old IGCSE way of doing it, if I add those two equations together, I'm going to get 4x. The y's will cancel, and I'll get 4x equals 26. Okay, so x equals 6.5. So that doesn't work. We may as well say what y is going to be equal to, because it's just from x plus y equals 1, y would equal minus 5.5, but we can say these are not integers. And then if I also now do the final calculation, which would be 3x minus y equals 5 or x plus y equals 5, let's try and solve those two. And again, because of the nature of the equations, if I call that one and I call that equation 2, again following exactly the same process through, add those two equations together, I'm going to get 4x is equal to 10 this time, so x would work out to be 2.5. If x works out to be equal to 2.5, then y would work out to be equal to 2.5. These are not integers either. These are not integers either. And then I'm going to say here, just try and finish it off properly. Therefore, there are no integers that exist x and y such that, and then the original thing we were trying to do, 3x squared plus 2xy minus y squared equals 20.